Camera's recording.
Okay, action.
Yum.
Yum.
Hi.
Hi. We just went to a bakery.
Of course.
Yeah.
Per typical.
Yeah.
How are you? How the
I'm
legs
fine.
feeling?
Legs are fine. In
Yeah.
good spirits.
What'd you do yesterday?
I did my first full distance triathlon. I did Challenge Roth.
Tell people a little bit about Challenge Roth.
Yeah. I guess the first question that I want to address that we got was how was the German hospitality and the German mindset, which is kind of like where we should start, because and then you asked like, why Challenge Roth? Why did I do this? And I think like what we've realized with our travels, our international travels, especially in Europe, is how kind of like secondary the United States treats racing and like triathlon, swimming, track and field, like endurance racing. And the rest of the world, especially in Europe, treats it like very, they take a lot of pride in these sports that we do. Just making sure I'm recording. Yeah. And it's really cool to come do these races and to see, everybody, the community come out and treat these sports very special, like they deserve to be treated, because they're really hard. People work really hard at training for these races, and to come out and do them is just a big celebration of what you've already achieved over the past months, weeks, years. So Challenge Roth is, we were told that it was like, the biggest race in Europe, and it lived up to the hype times 10.
I think it's the biggest race in the world.
It felt like the biggest race in the world, and we've been to Kona a few times now, and really the way that the community comes out for it and treats it is unlike anything we've ever experienced. I think Kona triathletes come out and really make it a thing, but here triathletes come out, spectators come out, volunteers come out. What was the number? How many spectators? 7,500?
That's the number of volunteers.
Volunteers, 7,500. Spectators estimated 300,000. And that's just around the entire race. So like you would ride out, 40 kilometers into the countryside and go through a small village, and there would be speakers, DJs, announcers, spectators, just like all there. And it would be designated as a hot spot. And so literally the whole course was just like a big, like, a big German party, a big international party. And I couldn't have asked for anything different in my first full distance experience, because I wanted to treat it like the most optimal experience I could get my hands on, and this was it. So shout out to all the Germans for making this amazing. All the volunteers, just the challenge family, the race organizers, like it was the most professional triathlon I have experienced, from start to finish. Just the check-in process, the volunteers, the transition areas, the pre-race, the post-race, which we still have the volunteer party to get to tonight, which is going to be epic, but it's really, really spectacular and an amazing job. Anyone who hasn't or is thinking about a full, especially if they're thinking about their first full, this is probably the one to do it, honestly. If you can make it out here and get in and do it, like, this is amazing.
How'd you do? What was your time? Are you happy with the result?
I had a pretty terrible day, honestly. I did not feel like myself from the gun, and we were joking like, what a day to not feel myself, to just have an off day. I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks probably hitting my head against a wall trying to figure out what it was that made me feel so off. But literally I jumped in the water for warm up, and in my head, I was like, oh no, because I like literally felt like I had forgotten how to swim when I got in the water. And my swim training has been great, and I've been happy about where I've been at swimming wise. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't have the energy to get going, to get my engine going, to allow my body to do what it's supposed to do. And it's a terrible feeling for those that have experienced it, when your body is ready to go, like your muscles are ready to go, you're fit, but just something about the way your metabolism is working that day, your engine is working that day, it's just not allowing you to do what it's supposed to do. But it's not allowing you to do what it's capable of doing, what you know it's capable of doing. So I had a pretty slow swim for me. I should have been in a pack that was way up the road from where I was at. But it was fine. I was just like relaxing and trying to enjoy the environment, because it was just like crowds lining the canal, and you look up and the bridges and there are fans up there. My parents were up there. So I just tried to conserve some energy. I think my swim time was 51, which again, decent, but slow for me, considering there's a pack that was over 5 minutes faster than that. And I should be there. I know I should be there, or at least closer to that. And just didn't have any speed. The bike, again, just did not really feel like myself, felt like a little heavy, but found a good, strong pack that I could work with. So it's a 2-loop course, and I was looking on Strava to compare like loop 1 to loop 2. My first loop was around 2 hours. My second loop was closer to 2:10, so it was literally 10 minutes slower. And it all came in the back half of the second loop. I just completely lost everything. And the pack that I was working with in the first loop was very strong and very fast. And surprisingly, it was working so that I wasn't overexerting myself. Like, I knew I was hitting a power that I knew I could sustain. And I knew that's where I'd been training at. And I could surge, I could take pulls, I could sit back and recover. So every time I did like surge and like, take a pull, I was able to like come back, recover, refuel. But then my stomach started to I could feel like not absorb or process what I was putting into it. And that was kind of the beginning of like this slow decline in power. And then the last 40K, I was over 100 watts less than where my race power should have been and where it was the whole race. So just total, utter bonk. Only 3 hours into the, Jenna's gotta be. And that was only 3 hours into the bike. And I was chatting with my coach, and I was like, this is not what we've been training for. Like, we've been training so much better than this. And again, it was just like one of those days where something weird was happening. So I was very thrilled with like the first part of the bike. I actually looked on Strava, Jenna, and I had the fastest time up Solar Hill on the day. 30 something overall ever, but fastest on the day. And that was the highlight, like I actually surged to the front of my pack so I could be first going up that. And I have no regrets in doing that. I knew, it was just going to be epic. And you take the right turn and around the corner, and then you look forward, and it's just like, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced, ever. It was just mad. And I caught glimpses of people that I recognized, mainly from the Ryzen team, who were just out in full force. So shout out to you guys. That was amazing. And then, so I had to just kind of finish off the bike by holding very little power, but just staying aero and trying to be as efficient as possible to just get to the end of that bike. And it was a very lonely, demoralizing 40K into T2. And at that point, I had all these thoughts going through my head that, like, this isn't my day. I'm not going to finish this race. And I was trying to think through all the things that it could have been and what I could do to like maybe get something back, try to still eat, still drink, get some electrolytes in, but nothing felt good. Nothing was helping. And I got into T2. The transitions were awesome. There were like volunteers that were taking stuff out of my bag and like handing it to me on a platter, you know, like, here you go. No, but it was, and that was nice, but I just felt so out of it. So I got my stuff on and walked out of the transition tent, and immediately crowds were lining the rails cheering for me, and I was just like, well,
no.
And then I was just like looking for you, Jenna. And then I saw you with the camera, and I went over to you, and I remember saying like, I'm completely on empty right now. I got nothing left. And you were just like so matter of fact with me. You were like, it's okay. Just start running. Just start. Just, you know, it could turn around. In your voice, you were just like sad, but encouraging. And at that point, with the crowd staring at me, and
The crowd got very quiet at that moment.
Yeah. But, you know, you were right. It's just like I just needed to start moving again.
Yeah, T2 sucks, no matter the distance.
It does. T2 always sucks, and usually when I'm not feeling good going into T2, it's a half distance, and I just start running, and I'm good, you know. But I've never experienced that much. Like, it was just a really bad day at that point, and I knew it was a really bad day, and I knew I'd never run a marathon, and this is the state that I was gonna have to run a marathon in, and that thought was just like so fucking daunting. But for you to say, just start running, I'll see you at the first aid station, just gave me like a small goal, you know? And that little something is something that I needed, and I could work with that. Just make it to the first aid station. I knew I was going to see you out there plenty. I knew there were going to be fans the whole way, and crowds and encouragement, and people were passing me coming out of T2, which means I was like, I'm still ahead of people too.
Yeah.
Like, despite it, how that bike was so bad for so long, but I was still ahead of people. And things can always turn around. They didn't, but things can always turn around, and they did turn around mentally, you know, like here and there. Part of it was just a joke, you know, just like, what am I doing? What is this? What are we doing? You know? But I don't know. You just got to find little ways to just keep yourself moving and going, and that's what I did. Part of it was just really sad because I wanted to have a good day, and I wasn't. But, you know, sometimes your debuts are amazing, and sometimes they're just like stinkers. But either way, it's your debut. And I remember like 2K into the run, I saw you, and I was like walking and peeing at the same time, and I was like, I looked at you without even saying anything. I was just like, I can do this. It's going to be a long day, but I can do this. And I think hearing those words come out of my own mouth just gave me like, you're finishing this race. There's no other option.
I'm glad I didn't have to be the one to say it.
Yeah, right. You need to be the one, you know? At the end of the day, you need to make these decisions, and having, you know, hearing yourself say these things is the most powerful thing. You can hear what others have to say, you can hear all the encouragement in the world, but sometimes, so my bike time was like a 4:28 or something, 4:26, and my run time was a 3:30. Jogged most of it, walked through all the aid stations, took a poop at kilometer 25. So
Yeah,
total time was 8:54 or 8:55 or something, and I did not get last.
Bravo. What distance did you start feeling, or what like time marker or distance
I'm
marker.
gonna skip that. I already talked about that.
Okay. What got you through the race?
Friends and family and just all the encouragement. We were talking about this is not a course that's easy to DNF because every spot that you can leave the course is a spot with tons of fans and encouragement. So it's like you hit those moments where you're at a low, but everyone is there to support you through.
You think you're going to do more of these?
I'm only going to do more if I commit myself. And I feel like this time around I wasn't committed on doing this well. I committed to the experience and coming out here and doing what I could to make it happen and enjoy it. But it's hard to, go down this path as a professional unless you're really focused on doing well. Otherwise, days turn into what they were yesterday. And it's like you just can't meet the expectations that you have for yourself. So unless I really commit to going all in this distance and doing something special and competing for the top spots, I don't want to do that. That's where I'm at with 70.3s with half distances, and I'm happy continuing down that path until something changes.
Did your expectations of the day meet reality?
No. Yes and no. In some ways, they were way less than my expectations, like the outcome of the race and how I was feeling. In other ways, they far exceeded the expectations, like the actual race experience and the organization of everything. And again, just challenge Roth, fucking amazing. It truly is something special. All challenge races are unique. This is the grand experience of triathlon. So can't speak highly enough about what that was and what that was all about. And in that sense, far exceeded my expectations. Going up Solar Hill was just it was Tour de France feels. Cannot explain it. It's crazy.
There's a question about your nutrition, but we're probably going to run out of juice.
Yeah.
So you can talk about that later.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do the full? Besides, despite being so anti doing a full. For so
Same
long.
thing that got me through the race is just support. People who care about me and my career as an athlete and my well-being, the sponsors that we've been working with closely for the last few years, just really wanted me to do this race. Challenge Family, the people that we work with there, Quintana Roo, Ryzen, all those supporters that are close to me, and my friends in the sport, they gave me energy to take this step and just be curious and see what it's all about. And I'm happy I did it.
Nice work, honey.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
We'll talk about nutrition another time, but we're low on battery. But
Well, battery exhausted. That's funny.
Perfect.